some bad news. I knew it. I love when he does that.
Well, once you hit rock bottom, the only way to go is up. So good luck, okay? Good luck.
You say rock bottom, but, like, it just seems like things keep getting worse. What is rock bottom? Who decides what's the bottom of all this? I mean, seriously, you go, okay, today is Friday, and I woke up in Cleveland, and I'm going, how much worse can it get?
Don't count me down, you piece of shit. Shut your mouth. Look at me, Tony. Look at me. I want you to fire me. You fucking Mark. Fire me. Fire me. How you think they gonna feel when they introduce your boys as the new WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions? I don't know, Ooze. They might be cheering. Yeah. They might be booing. Yeah. Little kids might be crying. Oh, yeah. We got grown men out there crying. Yeah. But they still might be hating on the Usos. Hating on us. Why? Because we went out there and did what we said we was going to do.
Buffalo, all your babbling is interfering with my machine. So for the next few minutes, please just do me a favor and kindly shoot.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 315 of the Hoots podcast. 1 week from episode 316, which means what? I got a shot of tequila. What? And then, so we'll have some fun with that next week. I'll try to clear out my throat and hopefully do a better Austin impression for you guys next week. But that should be a fun episode. 316 just said, I gave the wrestling Twitter a reality check. That's what the Hoops podcast is. It's your weekly reality check from for wrestling Twitter. The Hoots podcast. So I appreciate all the support, everybody. Thank you for rocking with me. As always, if this is your first time watching or listening to the podcast, I want to say thank you. I am Joshie Lopez. You can follow me at Twitter at Josh Lopez Media. Same thing applies on Instagram. We do this podcast free of charge every single Thursday. Anywhere you get your podcasts from. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please like, comment, and share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just type in the Hoots podcast on your YouTube search engine. It'll be there, right there for you to see it for yourself. I'm recording this on June 23rd, 2022. It's Thursday. It's right around a couple minutes past 10 o'clock here in the lovely city of Chicago, Illinois, as I'm recording in the Good Brothers studio. Your boys in some good spirits. Again, like despite my rant last week towards the Forbidden Door match card, I am looking forward to going to the United Center on Sunday and be a good time to hang out and stuff. This past month or so, dealing with my thing, I've been really cautious, like monitoring my money and stuff like that. So it's been kind of a struggle, but besides that, man, life's good. I got really nothing to complain about. So excited. Football should be back soon. Before you know it, you know what I mean? There's just a lot going on right now. And I want to share a little bit of motivation before we get into the questions this week. I found this clip on LinkedIn that I thought would be very interesting for you guys to listen to. And it's called Put In Work. It's by a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk. Hope you like it.
There's best practices. Everybody's different. Even if you follow the right, I put out all my content for free. I want people to follow the model, but they're all going to everyone's going to do it their own way. But even when I hear anybody, a startup, somebody starting at zero or potentially starting at zero, anybody here, the second I hear working smart, I get scared. I try to get them off that because working hard is the cost of entry of winning. You know nobody on earth that's made it that didn't work hard. You might know somebody who inherited money that didn't work hard, but you know nobody who's actually made it that didn't work hard. So I would just put the head down and try them all. Try them all. Here's my big thing. What is your time worth when you're not happy? Like, I hear people all the time like, oh, but I don't want to waste time. I'm like, you're happy. Here's what people do. They're unhappy. You're not where you're at. So you put your time into dumb like 2K and Netflix and Fortnite because you're escaping your real life. Your time's not worth anything when you're unhappy. So put it into making yourself happy, which is the work to get you to where you want.
A little something to think about as we start out the podcast this week. And I couldn't say it better to myself. You know, I run into that clip a couple of times throughout the year, and even myself, I need like a wake up call or a reality check on things and how I'm handling certain situations or how I'm viewing certain things, and it's like, do the fucking work. Like I see Athena doing this press tour and doing this woe is me shit and talking about how WWE demanded perfection out of her and, you know, sucking the life out of her passion for wrestling and all this extra shit and blah, 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 blah. Well, instead of wasting your time talking shit about other performers who are getting looked better than you, again, all this shit is fake and it's scripted, and wasting your time on trying to seek sympathy from Sean Ross Sapp and these dirt sheet guys, what about actually doing the work? Or Sasha Banks, who was a mark for herself. How about doing the work? It's wild, you know. I maybe I'm a victim of my own. I wouldn't say a victim. That's a dumb way to express it. But I'm part of a generation that gets labeled about people who are seeking handouts and entitled and stuff like that. Trust me, as I look you straight in the camera here, as I'm recording this on Facebook on this Q&A session, I don't want nor I ever seek any handouts from any single person, from anybody, not my family, not my colleagues, nothing. I am not seeking a handout for anything. Everything that I earn, all the success of this show, all the success of my wrestling website, ProWrestlingTransfusions.com, is off of just doing the work. I'm not seeking handouts. I'm not seeking extracurricular things to validate myself. You know, I don't shy away from putting work in. You know, I'm not gonna spend my time on stuff that's not worth spending time on. And what I appreciate about having this podcast is the fact that I can come on here, express myself, speak for my own accord, and try to help you guys in a lot of ways. You know, if I could give out advice and maybe think about something in a different light and maybe a bigger picture point of view instead of being closed-minded and stuff, I appreciate doing this stuff like that. Or I could share my experiences about relationships or struggles growing up or whatever. I wear everything that's happened in my life as a badge of honor because I overcame it. And I've had a lot of good things growing up. I've had bad things. I'm not different from any of you who are listening or watching to this podcast. Trust me, I will never put myself on a pedestal above anybody just because I have a podcast and I'm little bit known in the wrestling circles. Like that's something I will never do. My ego's not that big. And also I understand, for me, I have a lot more stuff that I want to accomplish and a lot more goals that I need to reach, and I'm barely at where I want to be. And I am not going to ever seek a handout from anybody, nor am I going to, you know, try to play the victim card and saying I'm wasting my time and, you know, people are taking things away from me, blah, 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 blah. No. What do I say in the podcast every single week? Be the authentic product that is yourself, and never let anybody dictate the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. You dictate your story, nobody else. It's not the other way around. You know, stop projecting your insecurities onto people because you don't have the ability to look yourself in the mirror and take control of your fucking life. You know, have the guts to forgive yourself for whatever's bothering you, even if it's something that you're not responsible for. Take that time to be like, hey, you know what? I'm struggling. I'm not probably having the money that I want at the time. You know, I just got out of a bad relationship. Whatever the scenario is, you know what I mean? Take a look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself how you're going to make yourself better from this experience. What are you going to learn from it? What are you going to do about it after the healing process is done? That's my question to you guys. Something to think about life-wise, because like we say all these things and we project our insecurities and blame people and just all this complaining for what? What do you get out of that? Then wasted energy and time that you could have spent on something else, like actually doing the work. So, like, when I hear people saying, oh, Sasha Banks this, Sasha Banks that, oh, I feel so bad for her. I don't feel bad for her. I don't feel bad for her for one bit. You know, I understand I cover an industry that's about paranoia and Napoleon complexes and all that. Trust me, I understand what I'm covering, but it doesn't change the fact that just because you buy into your own shit and you think your shit don't stink doesn't mean that you don't need a reality check. I'm supposed to feel sorry for a girl who walked out in a company while she's making, almost $250,000 a year? Let alone all the extra stuff she's making on the outside end of her Disney stuff and stuff like that. I'm supposed to have sympathy for her because she doesn't want to do the work. Like, I'm supposed to feel sorry for her. Right. No. So let's get to the Q&A. Q&A session this week. Got questions from Chris, Mike, and Nate the Great. So I appreciate you guys sending questions. Always. So sorry for Chris here at Twitter at XCSoleta24X. He says, which gaming system, PlayStation version, would you prefer? PS2, PS4, or PS5? Oh, man. That's a good question. You know what, Chris? For me, I was a PS2 fan. That was my favorite version of the box version of the PlayStation. But for me, I also was a big PSP fan. I don't know if you guys remember that, the handheld PSP. Oh man, when I first got it as I think I was like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 at the time. I marked out for it. I was a big PSP fan because it was a lot of fun, especially like the baseball games and wrestling. Playing on PSP was really dope. So if I had to pick one, that would be the one that I preferred the most. That's a good question, though. I appreciate that. Next question. Your favorite match for Slammiversary? Oh, man. There's a lot to pick from. I'll say Slammiversary was a really, really good pay-per-view from Impact Wrestling. I really enjoyed it. It's either the Queen of the Mountain match, because I thought it was really cool, and I thought all the ladies just did a phenomenal job in the match. It's either that one or Josh Alexander and Eric Young. I really enjoyed that main event, and I thought it was really, really good. So I would probably say that one for sure. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's see here. Chris says here, who will win the G1 this year? I have no clue. It's too early to say that. As you are listening to the podcast, I am going to give you guys a little crash course on the G1 this year. I'm going to talk about the announcements that's coming out for the G1 this year and let you guys be educated in case you don't know what G1 is or anything about New Japan. I'm going to have a full segment about that later on. But it's too early for me to say right now, Chris, who I think will win. I can tell you who I want to win, and it's Ishii. It's time for Ishii to finally get his due in a run for IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. I said this on Tony's podcast, the Heat podcast, which you subscribe to right now, that Ishii, for me, it's now or never for him to get his chance to the title. And I get it. He's not a spring chicken or anything like that and blah, 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 blah. But he is one of the best wrestlers in the world. And I don't know why he doesn't get his chance to be fighting for the main title and stuff like that. I just don't get it. And he's still one of the most popular wrestlers New Japan has. Any title changes at Forbidden Door? Well, we know that we'll have an interim champion crowned, right? We'll have a new champion, I guess, crowned at the pay-per-view. So that's 2. Outside of the ones that are interim and to be crowned, I'd say probably the only one that'll change will be the tag titles, because I see I can see Roppongi Vice beating, like they get the upset victory, and FTR switches their focus towards the Young Bucks, which they should have been doing for a long while. And then you could have done that. Plus, you could do Roppongi Vice against the United Empire if you want to rekindle that in Japan. The only one that I see that's an actual title on the line is the tag title switching. So, like, I don't see Jay White losing. I'll get to the predictions later on, but yeah, that's the best way I can answer that question. But I appreciate that one. Last one here for Chris is there anything you would change to the card for the Forbidden Door? Can I change the whole fucking thing? Like, honestly, can I change the whole thing? Like, before we get to what the hell's wrong with AEW this week, I'm like, you look at this card for Forbidden Door, and it's like looking at the WWE Universe mode when you like simulate through it for like the first 2 calendar years. That's what it looks like. It looks like a hodgepodge of random ass matches on a pay-per-view on Universe mode on WWE 2K. That's what it looks like. Or what the free agent pool would look like if you're simulating through multiple seasons of Madden or NBA 2K, you know? Like, that's what this card looks like to me. Like, I would change the entire thing. The way we got to a lot of these matches, the fact that there's so many 3-ways and 4-ways on this card, like, it's just, I don't know. I appreciate that TK wants to fit everybody on the show and stuff like that, but like, don't get me wrong, there are matches that I am looking forward to, and I think will be pretty fun to transcribe and stuff, but collectively, this card, as I said last night on Twitter, is the shits. Because we all know the agenda here. We all know what's going to happen, and we know what the purpose of this pay-per-view is. It's another prop-up way to get ready and prepare ourselves with Tony Khan to get the Booker of the Year award. It's all it is. That's what all AEW is. It's a vanity project. Congratulations, Dave Meltzer. You found yourself a televised wrestling company. You have Tony Khan as your face of the promotion, and this is the wrestling we get. So thank you, Chris, for the questions this week. I appreciate it, my man. Let's go to our good friend Mike Rubio at Main Event Swerve. What's going on, my man? He sent me an email this morning. He says, Josh, I'm traveling to Florida today, so the Hoots will be too sweet to listen as I'll be on my way to Disney World for the first time in 25 years. Brother, I'll tell you right now, man, the envy is real. The envy is real for sure. I hope you enjoy your time at Disney World. It's a great time going down there. I know they're doing the 50th anniversary this year. I really wanted to go to Disney World this year. I wanted to check it out. You know me, I want to be in Florida. If I could just go to Florida and never come back, I would. But for me, I hope you have a good time, man. I really do. So let's get to Mike's questions here. Anyways, here's a few questions for you in the Q&A this week. Have you ever been to Disney World or Universal Florida? If so, what is one of the must-see things in those parks if you know you won't return for years? Well, I'm not saying that I won't return. It has to be the right time. Like my thought process as far as whether I want to move to Orlando or not has not changed. It has not wavered one bit. I do admit real life gets in the way sometimes, and you have to be smart about these decisions and how you go about it. If it was up to me, I'll be in Orlando. If everything was going right for me and et cetera, I would be down there tomorrow. Hell, I would even move today after recording the show. if I had my druthers, but I don't. And timelines change. And, it's a big decision. It really is. But the large main reason why I wanted to move down there is because I'm ready to start the next chapter of my life. That's the general basis of it. There's nothing else to it. And as far as attractions and stuff, I'm really bad with naming rides and stuff like that because that's not really something I really think of because I'm not really like a big roller coaster person. There are cool features. I do say for joking purposes to check out Space Mountain, but we all know when it comes to Space Mountain, it goes like this. It's the longest line, oldest ride. Woo! Longest line, oldest ride. Man, Space Mountain never misses. One of my favorite features, I don't know if it is for you guys, but for me, one of my favorite features of Disney World is Animal Kingdom. That was one of my favorite ones when I went down there about 10 years ago for Disney World. Like the last time I was in Disney World in Lake Buena, that whole area, like the Disney property, was 10 years ago. The last time I was in Florida, obviously, was last year. Man, you bring this up really makes me really envious not being down there right now. I'm just telling you right now, but I hope you have a great time with your family. You're going to have a great time, my man. Universal's okay. Like, I got to check out where TNA was recording their shows for all those years, so I thought that was pretty cool. They had like a really good food place where they have like 4 or 5 different restaurants inside of it in Universal, which I thought was pretty cool. Walking past the Universal side is really nice with that backdrop with the waterfalls and stuff like that. So that was really cool. I know everybody's put over the Harry Potter stuff. I haven't really seen the updates of like Universal or Disney World because I haven't been to those particular places in 10 years. So that'll be my answer to that. Number 2, he says, I see friends talking about SmackDown getting stale lately, yet it holds 2 million plus viewers per week. What, if anything, should WWE change there? I don't know what it is to change it because, honestly, can you tell me what people want in wrestling in 2022? I mean, we could say everything about everything, but the numbers don't lie, and most importantly, the money, the bond dollar doesn't lie. And as much as everybody want to, they want to project themselves and, expand and just talk about how WWE is fading away and they're dying and they're struggling and all this stuff. I mean, hate watch is really a real thing, and it's a real barometer to a lot of things because that's one of the main reasons why I don't take wrestling Twitter seriously. That's why I don't take a lot of these video talk shows seriously, because as much shit as anybody can talk about a show, about a promotion that they don't like, WWE's numbers don't change. Their money doesn't change. And this industry is about making money at the end of the day, where people want to admit that or like that or not. That's what it is. And is it stale for people who only enjoy wrestling if it goes at 1,000,000 miles per hour and they make the referees look stupid? I mean, I don't know what people want in wrestling anymore. And that's a shame. If I can't tell what wrestling fans want anymore in 2022, I picture how it is sitting in the shoes of Bruce Pritchard or Vince McMahon. Hell, even for Rick Moranis himself. Like, I don't know what wrestling fans want in 2022. They can't make up their mind. They say if their favorite person loses on a pay-per-view, they're going to stop watching and unsubscribe from Peacock if they're live tweeting Raw the next night. It's like wrestling Twitter, and just to stay in the industry from a fandom point of view, it's so all over the fucking place and cluttered and just embarrassing, to be honest with you. So I don't know what they could do to change that. I mentioned before that I didn't think that the SmackDown roster following the last year's draft was great, but we'll get to the segment soon, but is it stale? I don't know. People are telling me that Roman Reigns has had one of the worst title reigns of all time. Okay. Keep telling yourself that. With John Cena returning, do you think he feuds with Austin Theory or he enters the WWE title picture with Reigns and Lesnar? No, I see John Cena doing his thing with Austin Theory, and I don't have a problem with that. I think that'd be pretty cool. As the Astros rookie shortstop Jeremy Pena outperformed the hype of replacing Carlos Correa, he leads Correa in all-star voting. Have you heard of Pena yet? I have not. I've been on and off a little bit with baseball this year, not because my Sox have been inconsistent this year. It's just I haven't had the time to watch it due to my typing schedule. So I haven't really had a chance to be fully invested into baseball. I haven't even been to a game yet this season. So hopefully something changes soon and we can figure that out. But I haven't heard anything to the contrary that would say that he's outperforming any hype. But I have to do some more research, but that's a good question. What is your go-to mood boosting song or artist when you are having a rough mental health day? Whew, that's a good one. I can't say one particular song. I always say that I do go to Biggie. I listen to Biggie every night before I go to sleep. There's other like motivational songs I'll check out, like You Can Hate Me Now by Nas and Puff Daddy. There's other days where I have like a rough mental day and I'll listen to the Eagles or something. Like over the last couple of years, I really like tapped into country music and stuff like that, and it's really helped me get another appreciation for that genre of music. But also, it's made me a better guitar player too, because I love playing my acoustic guitar. And when I'm having rough mental days, kind of like a Saturday where I get like really lonely, or I'm just like drained for the week, and stuff's not going my way. I really go to country music, and I go to a lot of like ballad songs too. Like I'm not afraid of it. It's not to be ashamed of. I'm really into ballad music. That's not to say that you won't catch me one day like rocking out to a Metallica album or something from AC/DC or Iron Maiden. Like my musical taste and voyage is all over the place. So I could be listening to anything at any time. But when I go through like a bad mental day, I'm either listening to Biggie or I'm listening to like some ballad, like country songs or R&B. So those are the ones I go to. What guitar curves are you most proud of doing and why? That's a great question. Recently, the last two that I really have enjoyed doing was the song called "I Miss My Friend" by Daryl Worley, which is a country song. I think it's probably the most beautiful love song that I ever heard, and it's really fun to play on the guitar. I would say a new hit by Tank that just came out with him and Jay Valentine called "Slow" is another one that I recorded last week on my Instagram page. If you want to see it, at Josh Lopez Media. That was fun to play because when I was in high school, I was in our jazz band, and that time I was playing a lot of jazz and R&B stuff, and those are always fun to play on the guitar. But yeah, I have two songs other that really stood out to me, like "No Hard Feelings" by Old Dominion is another song that I was playing that had a little nice sentimental feelings to me, and as I was getting through my healing process. So that's another one to play on the guitar. And if I have to think about other one, "Quitting Time" by Morgan Wallen. It's a fun song to play on the guitar. All right, last question for Mike this week. He says, are you surprised to see Vince McMahon appear more on TV than during this scandal/investigation? I'll make this brief. No, I'm not surprised, and I'm not really going to expand on that. Like I said last week, I'm not really going to discuss this topic about Vince McMahon and Jeff Hardy and stuff like that. That's not what we're going to do here on the podcast. It's really nothing for me to say that hasn't already been said. And secondly, it's just amazed me that now in 2022, the Wall Street Journal really wants to give a fuck about Vince McMahon's past transgressions. Like you have been following up with this stuff for 30 plus years. You don't know about the man and who he is for the last 30 years. Now's the deal. Now leaks are coming out. It's really something I don't want to get into. It's something that we're not going to discuss on the show. So I appreciate you, Mike, for the questions. Have a great time in Florida, my man. Really, really jealous. I'll say that. All right. Let's see what we got here. Last question for the Q&A this week comes from the good brother Nate the Great. Yes, at Psycho Nagiri on Twitter. Or as his header name says, Nate Pinkman. But by the way, did you guys see that? Did you guys see that GIF of Seth Rollins coming out to the Pink Panther music and him doing the dance? I just thought it was hilarious. All right, anyway, here we go. Josh, do you miss working at the tattoo shop? Yes and no. Money was what it was. I don't miss it for that reason, Nate. I don't miss the commute going there and back, especially at nights where you would stay longer than our original closing time at the tattoo shop. Those who work in the tattoo industry know how it is. It's just a fleeting experience. The tattoos go longer than they should. Customers act up. It can be monotonous at various times. It was very monotonous and taxing on me towards the end of my run working at the tattoo shop. But I'm very grateful for that experience. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot of good times that I had working at the tattoo shop. What I miss is the time to hang out with my Uncle Jeremy and just shoot the shit, stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. I missed the process of cleaning tattoo tubes. That was a lot of fun, just taking out the toothbrush, the process of getting the ink out, and then putting the sterilizing machine, and then putting it in the bags. I missed that. Hell, I even missed scanning the papers that we the release forms and put it in our Transcend program. I had that job. I had to scan and put the information, log in the information of all the clients into our Transcend program. Not only is that program there where we get the notification info for all our clients that got the tattoos, just in case any health issues came up or anything serious came up, we had the information to pull it up and the evidence of them getting the tattoo. But also, they gave out the numbers and emails in case people wanted to reschedule and stuff like that. So the Transcend program is really cool and stuff like that. I miss the aspects like that of the shop that I do. I miss the vibe of the energy, just being there at night and, talking to my guy, Alex Gregson as well, who's the artist there. I miss some aspects of that, but combined with what I'm doing transcript wise, the tattoo shop became very monotonous for me. And it wasn't worth the time I was spending there and what I was being compensated for the amount of work I was doing there. Yeah, I was there for 3 weeks, but for what I was the work I was doing to keep the shop going was just not worth it for me. It was not worth, me paying a third of my check sometimes on Uber rides just to get there. It's just, it wasn't worth it. If you look at this, if I was getting paid around $150 sometimes a week or $160 a week, if I'm lucky, right? And I would pay sometimes $55 or $60 on Uber rides just to get back to my house. And that's just not fun. It's not feasible, and it's not worth it too, you know. So I miss the experience hanging out with my uncle and just the vibe, that energy, and being exposed to that culture is really cool, and it's something that I don't take for granted too. But also, I understand the realities of being an independent contractor too. So I learned a lot there, and I miss it in some ways, but in a lot of ways I don't. I'm happy with what I'm doing right now, and I feel like what I'm doing right now is going to bring me to even a bigger level down the road. So, how important are visuals in wrestling in all aspects? If Jeff Cobb looked more like Jay White, would they be pushing him more? It's hard to say, and I know this has been a topic this week with the whole Adam Cole stuff and body shaming. The visuals on my end in wrestling don't apply to what the wrestler looks like or what their outfits are. A lot of the ancillary stuff that a lot of you guys complain about on Twitter, I'm not speaking about you, Nate, but just people on Twitter in general. A lot of those things people talk about is stuff that I really don't care about. I don't care about booking. I don't care about performers win and loss records. I don't care about what their entrance music sounds like. Stuff like that has nothing to do with what happens inside those ropes. I could get two shits about that. Most importantly, I don't care what they look like either. I never subscribe to the theory of, okay, if a person has to be 6'5", jacked to be over or anything like that, or like you're putting here, if Jeff Cobb looked more like Jay White, they would be pushing him more. I think their talent in the ring and what they can do on the mic should separate those parameters, but that's not the case. And I know a lot of people look down at guys like Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin and stuff like that for their size and stature, and they are the prototypes and blah, 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 blah. But here's the difference. Those guys that you bitch about, they put in the work and they're actually good at their jobs, you know? For me, I've been desensitized in a lot of ways in professional wrestling due to the fan culture, the way it's covered. A big part of it is that as well. And also the fact that I see a lot of people, I see a lot of wrestling throughout the weeks. And it's hard for me to really separate one performer from another because there's a lot of wrestlers who do a lot of the same moves. They carry themselves in a very generic way. And when I see somebody that stands out, that resonates more to me than somebody having a match where they just do Falcon arrows, spinning back kicks, rolling forearms, super kick, Canadian destroyers, insigurities. The list goes on and on. But all this talk this week about Adam Cole and his body shaming and stuff like that, my issue with Adam Cole and AEW has nothing to do with what he looks like or his body shaming. I don't do that with performers. I'm the last person to ever describe somebody for body shaming. And for me, my issue for him is that what he's doing in AEW has no consequence. And it hasn't been meaningful since he showed up. It has nothing to do with what he looks like or if he needs to put on more muscle or anything like that. I don't care about this stuff. But honestly, as we're talking about this, put that conversation aside. Can you tell me with a straight face that Adam Cole's really made a difference since he's joined AEW? Can you tell me and look at me with a straight in my eye with a straight face and tell me that Adam Cole has made a monumental difference to AEW in the wrestling landscape since he's joined them? That's my only complaint. I still enjoy his work. He's one of the few performers I do enjoy from AEW. I've always enjoyed his matches. I always thought he's been a good promos guy. I've always enjoyed his work over the years, where he was a good guy or a bad guy. His body image or appearance should not have a factor of what his quality is to the industry. Yeah, we all could do the airport test, or when you recognize somebody walking down the street. Cool. Do I recognize them, or it's not whether I recognize them at an airport. It should be whether I give a fuck about them if they're on my TV screen. just because you're jacked to the gills and 6'5" or 6'7" or whatever the requirement is these days for prototype wrestlers, that should not matter. Jeff Cobb is unique to himself for how he wrestles in the ring. Now, I was more interested in Jeff Cobb as Mataza Cueto in Lucha Underground than I am right now in him in New Japan. But the wrestling's still the same. He's still a great athlete. He's still a great wrestler. But from a performer point of view, I enjoyed him more as Mataza Cueto. My taste is different from the modern dirt sheet guys and people and the talking heads and stuff like that for me. I don't think Jeff Cobb's position in the card would be different if he looked like Jay White or was better like shaped than him. I just don't agree with that stuff. Here's another question. What was the last time you cried? Last time I cried was probably at my cousin's wedding. It was just a very emotional night, and it was not a sad like crying where I'm feeling like really down or whatever, but it's just I was really happy for him, and just to see the smile on his face and how happy he was, it was a really special night. I'm really glad that I was able to attend the wedding, and it was really a really special night. I was very happy for him. So, it's one of the things. You go to a family wedding, you're going through that process, you get choked up a little bit, and it comes out. But yeah, that's probably the last time I cried, but nothing recently or nothing that really like overwhelmed me to the point that I like need to have like a bad cry and stuff like that. But like I said earlier in the show, your boy's in good spirits. I really am. But just being there at the wedding, just that environment. Yeah, I'll admit I got emotional, and I was very happy for my cousin Vince, and he's really happy right now, and he has a wonderful family, and glad I was there to be there for his wedding. I thought it was really cool. All right. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of WCW? Oh, man. I'll do it like this. Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Sting, and NWO. That'd probably be my four I'll go with. I mean, of course, you can add NWO if you want, but for me, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Sting, and I forgot the other one I just mentioned, but like, yeah, those on the top of my head definitely deserve their spots in what made WCW at the time. But that's a good question, and that's going to conclude our Good Brothers Q&A session here for this week's edition of the podcast. I want to thank Nate, Chris, and Mike for saying some awesome questions this week. I appreciate you guys. And as always, if you ever want to participate in the Good Brothers Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up on Twitter or Instagram at Josh Lopez Media or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. Sit back, relax, strap it down. We'll be right back in just a second, and we'll get to what happened this week in WWE right here on the Hoots Podcast. Yes, sir. What it do, everybody? Welcome back. Time to talk about what happened this week in WWE. As Michael Cole said, shout out to Michael Cole for celebrating 25 years behind commentary does of WWE. So started off this past week in Minneapolis, Minnesota. By the way, I want to give a shout out to my guy Andrew Baydilla. I see my guy there, a couple rows behind the commentary desk. There he is in living color. Andrew Baydilla. My guy from SNE. By the way, I want to say this really quick. Give my flowers to my guy Andrew Baydilla. Him, my other guy, Blake Mitchamore. They do occasionally. They do these things called Turnbuckle Spaces. They do this thing on Twitter. You guys know the whole Twitter Space stuff. You guys should check it out. They do some good content there. Shout out to them on the spaces, if you will. So anyways, here we are. Talking about SmackDown this past week. We all know the drill about Roman Reigns and Matt Riddle. Riddle started the show dedicating the match to the one and only Mr. Randy Orton, who's going to be out for the rest of the year. Following that, we saw Baron Corbin against Riddick Moss in a last laugh match. Moss ended up picking up the victory over Corbin. After the match, Corbin threw a fit towards Pat McAfee, and this is how it went down.
About a last laugh match was that we'd see your sorry ass getting laughed out of an entire arena. So I think with the help of the beautiful people in MINN, we can give the WWE Universe what they've been waiting for since your sorry ass came into this company. Will you help me laugh this jabroni the hell out of Minneapolis, Minnesota? You suck!
Oh, man. Pat McAfee, the national treasure. I do have to say this out for Drew. If you are listening to this, I do appreciate it. Right as they're about to start the Minnesota chant for, I think it's for the golfers, the college football team. Andrew's like, nah, I'm not going to do it. Stick it true to your roots, my man. I know what you're doing. That's tremendous. So that was pretty cool. We're going to get a rematch of the Street Profits and the Usos at Money in the Bank. Speaking of some petty stuff, man, do you see the stuff on Twitter with Ronda Rousey and Natalya recently? Shit. Once you start bringing family members into the equation, you know that shit's about to hit the fan. I say keep your eyes on that, out for that match. I think this hasn't been discussed enough on a lot of shows recently because, you know, people gotta keep on their hate watch WWE narrative, you know. Get your Fightful Select, by the way. Anyways, there hasn't been a lot of discussion over the fact that this card for Money in the Bank features 3 women's matches. Not only do you have the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, which has a very interesting field this year, and also you got, like they mentioned, Natalya and Ronda, and then you got Bianca putting her Raw Women's title against Carmella. I'll get to that in a couple minutes, but I don't know why people are not talking about that. I think that's pretty cool that, you know, show at MGM Grand Garden Arena has 3 women's matches on the pay-per-view. I think that's pretty cool. New Day against Jinder and Shaky was what it was. I thought it was funny though when Shaky was dancing to Woods playing the trombone. I thought that was funny. We found out that Drew McIntyre and Sheamus found their Donnybrook Brawl a few weeks ago. They both have been entered into the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. No problem there. Sami Zayn is still trying to convince the world that there's no issues between him and the Bloodline. He's doing everything he can to join the Bloodline. Curious to see what happens with Sami Zayn. What if Sami Zayn, Brock Lesnar's friend, cost him the WWE title at SummerSlam? Wouldn't that be interesting? I don't know. Raquel Gonzalez against Shayna Baszler. I thought this was fine for what it was. I just wish they had some more time to the match. And I also say I wish there was some more time because I got to see my new current trendy favorite waterfall, Lacey Evans, on commentary. That girl is fucking beautiful, man. All the way around, forget about it. We had the ring general being announced that he's going to have put his title on in a rematch against Ricochet. That'll be taking place on tomorrow. For this week's edition of SmackDown. So that should be fine. And then, of course, what everybody's been complaining about this week, outside of Vince McMahon and Jeff Hardy and God knows what. Roman Reigns against Matt Riddle. By the way, do you know that 2.8 million people watched this match? And you still want to say that Roman Reigns is not the needle mover? Yeah, of course, having a world title match on TV would spark interest. But to that level, it's not another level. Where you want to choose to acknowledge that or not, that's on you. But Roman Reigns and Matt Riddle, and I put this out on Twitter as the show was going on last week. Roman Reigns is an attraction. He doesn't have to be there and put his title on the line every week, every month. He's an attraction. I know WWE's conditioned us to believe that we have to have a champion defend their title every 30 days and stuff like that due to the value of TV and how the brand split was in the past, but Roman Reigns is an attraction. When he's there, he makes his stuff count. It means more. So, yeah, are there weeks that I wish Roman Reigns was on every episode doing this, doing that, but I'll take a match like that brought Riddle to another level and just continues to solidify how damn good Roman Reigns is as the top draw in the industry. I'll take that any time of the week or any time of the year. Roman Reigns is that dude. And then all the fake outrage this week about the return of Brock Lesnar. You know, for as smart as the IWC and wrestling Twitter likes to make them out to be, they came off really dumb this week, especially the typical victims. I would play this rant, but I don't want to make your ears bleed for the nonsense that's spewed out of it. But I did hear the rants about, oh my god, I can't believe we're going to have Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns again. Did any of you numbskulls really believe that Brock Lesnar was not going to get his chance for the title and get his rematch when he came back? Did any of you believe that was the last match with the way how that played out at WrestleMania? Did you really believe that? Oh, they go to the Brock Lesnar well so much. I don't know. Listen to the fucking audience. Look how excited they were when he did come back on Friday. Stop. And I mean this. For people who are watching or listening to this, please stop allowing dirt sheets and Twitter to dictate your wrestling opinion. Listen to the fucking crowd. It would be a totally different story if Brock Lesnar came out and nobody gave a shit. That would be your indicator that the audience is fatigued of the feud. Even when Brock Lesnar's music stopped playing, they were still into it. And going off the air, into it. People going on their way to shake Brock Lesnar's hand after the show's over. Don't come to me about, oh, we've seen this match a gazillion times. Talk to me where I had to sit through 27 different variations of Chaos versus House of Torture in New Japan. Or, 12 different matches of Eddie Kingston against Daniel Garcia in AEW. Or, a run-of-the-mill, Chris Sabin match with somebody from Honor No More. We get rematches in every aspect of the industry. It's not just WWE. And I'll tell you what, as a guy who's been to all three Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns WrestleMania matches in person, yeah, them fighting at SummerSlam as the last man standing match should be the send-off for it. I'm not coming here and bloviating saying that, oh, Brock Lesnar is the only person who should fight Roman Reigns for the title. But a lot of this scuttlebutt and these outdated narratives about how you gotta start building new stars, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. You, the same audience, don't allow WWE to try to build new stars, because once they do, because everybody's still stuck in their prison of the CM Punk podcast, anytime somebody starts getting on a winning streak that's not your indie favorites, you shit on the guy. And that's a fact. Look at Drew McIntyre's title reign. And don't blame it just on the pandemic, because a lot of you fickle-ass fans and content creators went out of the way to shit on that man during his title reign. Oh, we need to start building new people up. How about you put some action into it to yourself? Anytime somebody starts getting momentum, oh, they're getting the push, they're getting the rocket push, but just because it's not my favorite, because it's not an IWC darling, I'm going to shit on the guy. And guess what? They go back to where they were before. Yeah, of course, I was everybody that said that Goldberg did not need to beat Kevin Owens, and et cetera, et cetera. Were you going to tell me that Kevin Owens is not a star? Was Kevin Owens' career ruined by Goldberg? Really? Tell me about, you gotta give other guys a chance. Like, it's that simple. All the time I hear on these wrestling podcasts, where's the build-up? Where's the build-up? Well, how about you give somebody a chance to build themselves up before rushing and doing these stupid-ass debates about their booking and their wins and loss records? How about that? It's that easy of a concept to you guys that you think you can just shoot out stars out of people's asses these days. When the audience, A, doesn't know what the hell they want, and B, they don't even get this performance in time to get themselves to another level, because we always gotta do these stupid ass debates about, they're getting pushed too much. We're seeing now they're Vince and Bruce Pritchard's favorite wrestlers. Give me a break. Fake outrage shit in my ass. You're just doing it for likes and retweets because people on Twitter can't think for themselves. Don't fool me. We gotta build new stars. We gotta do this. We gotta do that. Like, it's that simple. You could have built somebody as a credible challenger for Brock Lesnar or for Roman Reigns. Who? Out of the blue. You're gonna tell me you're gonna build up Montez Ford for a month or two and he's gonna be a credible performer? Love Tez. But even then, anytime anybody starts getting hot on the hot streak that's not a crowd favorite or IWC darling, you don't give them a chance. It's not about Raw. I was a little bummed out to hear the news about Rhea Ripley being not medically cleared to compete at Money in the Bank, so switcheroo, gotta do a fatal 5-way match. I thought the match was pretty good. Liv Morgan continues to up her waterfall game as the weeks go by. That girl's she's a hoot, if you will. I'm a big fan of Liv Morgan. Carmella won this match. I figured she was going to be the one to win because you already have Liv and Alexa in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And honestly, going into that match, you'd think one of those two, or at least are one of the favorites, or ones that people want to see win the Money in the Bank ladder match. So, honestly, I was not upset that Liv or Alexa Bliss were the ones to win this Fatal 4-Way. It made sense to how the show ended, so it's fine. Carmella does deserve her flowers, and her and Bianca, I think, will have a good match at Money in the Bank. So I wasn't really upset about that because I was wondering where Carmella's been on TV. She's been missing in action, so good on her. I think she deserves her flowers, and I don't think she gets enough respect for what she actually does in the ring. It's all subjective. If you don't like her character or stuff like that, that's fine. I really don't care about that. But yeah, I think it was pretty cool that she got her chance there. So I thought that was cool. Good promo by Seth Rollins. You know, he's throwing it out there that he should be the next Mr. Money in the Bank and that he has Roman Reigns' number. I thought that was cool. Some decent matches on the show, like Jey Uso and Angelo Dawkins. I thought that was a pretty solid TV match. Same thing with Bobby Lashley's gauntlet match with Alpha Academy and Austin Theory. I thought that was really good. Lashley won that. He'll fight Theory for the United States Championship at Money in the Bank. Now we got to talk about my favorite part of Raw this week. Elias is back. Enjoy a little bit of this backstage conversation with Ezekiel.
Come on, I'm a changed man. Okay, seeing you out there living your dream like we always talked about, hearing the crowds cheer you on, it's completely changed my perspective. In fact, I'm proud to be performing tonight in Nebraska. I just wonder if the people remember WWE stands for Rock with Elias. Come on, man. Didn't you hear the Zeke Freaks last week? Of course they remember. Gotta say, this means the world to me. I know Mom and Dad are sitting there watching us, same way me and you used to sit on the couch and watch. I mean, maybe you'll get a chance to see me in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Who knows? I mean, can you imagine undisputed WWE Universal Champion Ezekiel? I'm getting all zeked up thinking about it.
Oh, man, that was fantastic. How they all played it off, and again, Kevin Owens, the national treasure that he is. If you guys haven't seen the Ezekiel and Elias segment with Kevin Owens, you need to go check it out for yourself. I thought that was pretty good. AJ Styles had a solid match with Tommaso Ciampa. I wish they had some more time to it, but it was good for what it was. It looks like they're going to run with the running joke about Miz having a shrinkage problem. We'll see how that goes. I found a piece of audio from Raw Talk this week that I wanted to share with you guys with Seth Rollins with an interview with Kevin Patrick. Let's hear a little bit of this.
Thanks very much, guys. Seth freaking Rollins. Safe to say it's been a turbulent few days for Riddle. You kind of aided that this evening, didn't you? You doubled down on it. You made a statement tonight.
Well, look, I know it's been a rough week for Riddle, but I mean, come on. He's asking for it. He's out there putting the visionary's name in his mouth like he deserves to speak my name with his breath. Come on. Truth be told, I was just going out there to make a mission statement to declare that the entire world doesn't stand a chance against Roman Reigns. And I do, obviously. Riddle was collateral damage. But like I said, he had it coming to him. He had it coming to him just like everybody else in this Money in the Bank match has it coming for them. 2 weeks. Las Vegas, baby. I am Mr. Money in the Bank. Let me ask you a question. Let me turn the tides, shall we say. Do you remember the first time I cashed in the Money in the Bank contract?
I don't think anyone could forget.
Heist of the century, baby. I am Mr. Money in the Bank. No one can hang with me. It is my destiny to reclaim that contract and cash in on Roman Reigns. It's my destiny, man. Roman's been dodging, been ducking, been running, been hiding, but baby, you don't stand a chance when I get that contract. You can't run from me because I am visionary, revolutionary, and Seth freaking Rollins, baby. I'll have a pint for you, Mike. See ya.
It's Kevin. I'm sure Brent Carter would get a kick out of that part too. All right, let's see what we got here. Yeah, so that was pretty good there. Then obviously the main event, Becky Lynch, Asuka, the winner would qualify for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We saw Asuka win that match. Very good and physical match there. Asuka won with the roundhouse kick, clean as a whistle. Becky looks completely distraught as the show goes off the air. I could probably see Becky get her chance in the last chance thing. I can see that for sure. I'm kind of curious to see what the rest of the men's field is for the Money in the Bank ladder match. I'll say that. But here's the card so far for Money in the Bank. We have, obviously, Austin Theory putting his U.S. title on the line against Bobby Lashley. Usos against Street Profits for the tag titles. That's going to be good. Ronda Rousey against Natalya for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bianca Belair against Carmella for the Raw Women's Championship. We got Asuka, Lacey Evans, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, the winner of Shotzi Blackheart and Aaliyah. And one more to be determined for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. After that, we got Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Omos, I think there'll be another qualifying match soon on SmackDown, I would say, for sure. And then we'll see what the rest of the card shapes out throughout the rest of the way. Don't be surprised if Sami Zayn finds his way into this. That's right, Sami Zayn got a qualifying match next week with Nakamura, so that should be pretty good. Looking forward to that. So, yeah, overall, decent week for TV. If I had to give a nod for the better show, I would give it to SmackDown. But a decent week overall for WWE. Really quick before we get to our next segment, because we got to talk about the G1 and stuff. Just a lot of stuff going on this week. But we got to talk about, of course, NXT UK. Today we got Isla Dawn against Myla Grace. We got Saray against Nina Samuels. And, of course, Ashton Smith and Oliver Kata taking on Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen for the NXT UK Tag Team Championships. All right. So, those will be going down today for NXT UK. So, I'm looking forward to that. It should be a lot of fun. So, yep, folks, that's what happened this week in WWE. When I come back, we'll talk a little bit about what's going on in the G1 Climax tournament, and I'll let you guys know about what's going down, and then we'll get into our main event segment right here on the Hoots Podcast. Okie dokie, folks. One more pit stop before we get into our main event segment, what you guys have been waiting for all week. What the hell is wrong with AEW? I got a nice little surprise for you guys this week. Not only do we get what the hell is wrong with AEW, but you're getting the return of the Thoughts of Dericho for 1 week. Brett Carter decided, since it is a pay-per-view week, he wanted to grace us with his audio presence, if you will, and he sent me a couple clips this week. One for what the hell's wrong with AEW, and secondly, another one for the Thoughts of Dericho, where you'd be making predictions. No, for the Forbidden Door. So let's get to it. Let's talk about the G1 Climax tournament coming up in July, starting on July 16th. I told you guys on Twitter I'm going to give you a little crash course of what's going on for the G1 Climax tournament. As always, I recommend you guys follow along, not only with my coverage of the G1 on ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com, but I also recommend you guys check out Chris Sansa at SportofProWrestling.com. Who does a lot of great work. He has a lot of stats and info and stuff like that, which you would find very interesting. Chris does a lot of great work in New Japan. I think he's a good follow on Twitter to check out. So, hey, we got to give people their flowers. You know, it's not all about me. So, I'm going to read a lot of what I wrote in the reference sheet here, so you guys can get a little gist of what the G1 is if you haven't watched it before. So I'm not going to go over the entire match lineup and tour. I have it posted if you want to see it for yourself. But I'm going to let you know about the ins and outs of the G1 and who's participating in this year. So it should be pretty fun. So here we go. Hi, everybody. It's Joshie Lopez. And I'd like to welcome you guys to the NJPW G1 Climax 32 reference sheet. This will mark our 6th consecutive year covering the annual NJPW G1 Climax tournament right here on Pro Wrestling Transcriptions. It's the best tournament in professional wrestling, and we're ready to give you the best match breakdowns in the business. There's 20 events this year, and with the continued celebration on New Japan's 50th anniversary, New Japan Pro Wrestling has brought the G1 to another level this year. There's 28 competitors separated in 4 blocks. The winners of each block will meet in the semifinals of the G1. Don't forget to subscribe to NJPW World and make sure to share our transcripts with every single G1 32 event. It would mean a lot to us, and we want this to be the ultimate point of reference for you guys and girls. As always, I'll update the scoreboards and results of this particular article following each event. Let us know which matches you are looking forward to the most and who you think is going to win the G1 Climax 32. With the G1, anything can happen. The charm of the G1 is that upsets can come at any time. There will be debts that have to be paid, chances for new rivalries, faction drama, performers making their first appearance in the G1, like Filthy Tom Lawler, El Phantasmo, Aaron Henare, Jonah, and David Finlay. This is the largest G1 field of all time. The last time the G1 was separated into 4 blocks was 2000. The tournament will go on from July 16th through August 18th. The G1 Climax tournament this year consists of 4 blocks, each with 7 competitors who will square off against one another and earn points for each victory. And like I mentioned earlier, the winner of each block will meet in the semifinals, and the winner of those matches obviously will be in the finals at the Nippon Budokan. Should the current IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Jay White win the event, he would have the opportunity to choose his number 1 contender as the current champion he is. Here's some G1 Climax 32 stats and nuggets. Also, credit to Chris Sansa as well. Hiroshi Tanahashi holds the record for most victories in the G1, 91. Entering the G1 2020 first consecutive time, he is a 3-time G1 champion. Naito was a finalist in 2011, had to forfeit in last year's G1 due to a serious knee injury he suffered in the match he had with Zack Sabre Jr. By the way, Naito and CSJ are in the same block this year. Tama Tonga, who was exiled by Bullet Club earlier this year, will have his first chance to get his hands on Jay White. How will things play out with David Finlay and rock hard Juice Robinson? This will be their first meeting since Robinson joined the Bullet Club. Will Ospreay and Shingo Takagi had a legendary match in the Best Super Juniors tournament a couple years ago, and their rivalry will be renewed as they are in the same block. Lance Archer from AEW will be returning to New Japan. The last time Archer was in the G1 was 2019. The NJPW Strong brand will also have a nice representation in the G1 as Filthy Tom Lawler, Jonah, and David Finlay are participating in this year's tournament. Speaking of participating, here are the blocks as it is follows. Block A, Okada, Jeff Cobb, Jonah, Filthy Tom Lawler, Lance Archer, Bad Luck Fale, and Toriano. Block B, Jay White, Tomohiro Ishii, Sonata, Taichi, Tama Tonga, The Great Okan, and Chase Owens. Block C, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Tetsuya Naito, Zack Sabre Jr., Kenta Evil, Hiroki Goto, and Aaron Hanare. And lastly, certainly not least, Block D, Will Ospreay, Shingo Takagi, El Phantasmo, Juice Robinson, Yoshihashi, David Finlay, and Yujiro Takahashi. 28 competitors, 7 matches in each block for every competitor in there. So, it's going to be a lot of action. Let's just say that. A lot of action and a lot of matches. But all goes down to August 18th. And we'll have all the coverage here on ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. So, yeah, that's what's going on for the G1. A lot of matches to look forward to on the card. Obviously, Okada and Jeff Cobb have always ripped it up. I've never seen Okada fight Tom Lawler, so that should be an interesting matchup. Jonah making his first appearance to see how he performs. That should be very good for him. I say the best blocks as far as ones that you're looking for your 5-star matches and stuff like that is definitely Block B and Block C. But I think Block D has some potential, and as I was telling Tony on the recent podcast I was on with him, the charm of the G1 is the fact that upsets can happen at any time, and this is usually the time of year where everybody wants to smoke. So there's not going to be a match on the G1 tour that's going to feel lazy or going through the motions. So I'm really excited for this. The G1 is my busiest time of the year besides WrestleMania season, obviously. And this should be absolutely insane. So 28 competitors, 4 blocks. All hell is going to break loose in the G1 Climax 32 this year. On that note, it's time to give people what they want, what they need, what they've been waiting for and salivating for all week. It is what should be an Emmy Award-winning segment, otherwise known as What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. Let's start this off with Brother Carter. That's right, Brother Carter's here on the podcast this week in a 3, 2, 1.
Beat your meat, 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 beat your meat.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW? What the hell is wrong with AEW? You know, I've been on my summer hiatus, enjoyed my time off, it's been lovely. And I'm still going to be on hiatus for another few weeks, but I couldn't pass up this opportunity to give a few thoughts as we get into the door that is forbidden. No, this weekend. So I thought I would take this opportunity to... I had a chance to watch Dynamite tonight on my summer hiatus as I've been out on vacation. And I said I had to check out this show, and I couldn't help but give a few thoughts getting into this weekend, because all I have to say is, if this is the go-home show to this pay-per-view, I have absolutely no interest or any reason to watch this show at all. Oh my God, was Dynamite complete dog shit this week. Let's get into it. There's a few things that I liked, so let's talk about the things that I liked first. First, I gotta say, I do feel bad for Bryan Danielson that he's injured and is not able to compete this weekend. I really bet his match with Zack Sabre Jr. would have been terrific. I don't know much about Zack Sabre Jr., but everything I've heard from all accounts says he's terrific. So I would have really liked to have seen that, so I feel bad for Bryan Danielson. I hope he gets well soon. Really good promo from Christian Cage this week. I saw that he turned on Jungle Boy after the Bucks of Youth regained the titles. Shocking, the EVPs put the titles back on themselves again to make themselves the first ever two-time champs. Shocking. Anyway, a really good promo from Cage. I thought that was awesome. Heel Christian Cage is the best Christian Cage. So that was great, and I hope it'll give more opportunities for Jungle Boy to become a star, because I think he's got all the potential in the world. The problem is he'll never become a star because he never went to WWE, and therefore he is useless in Tony Khan's eyes. Good match with Malachi Black and Pento Oscuro. I think Malachi Black is incredibly underrated and needs to do more with the world title or the TNT title, or at least get back to WWE. Also, and I actually didn't mind the Miro promo afterwards, which I can't believe I'm saying that, but if that's going to be the angle they go with, I can actually buy that, and that could be kind of cool. So I didn't mind that promo at all. So overall, really good segment. I enjoyed it. And a decent match with Silas Young and Adam Page. The Buckshot Lariat is really cool. Problem is I don't know who Silas Young is because I don't watch ROH. So, and that's AEW's big problem. We're going to get into that in a minute. But let's now get to the shit. And oh boy, was there a lot of shit. Well, Bryan Danielson is officially delusional. He said that AEW and New Japan are the two best promotions in the world. And he's also excited about Blood and Guts, which he has officially lost his damn mind. Because how on earth can he think that this garbage bullshit gives us some of the best professional wrestling in the world? I don't get it. He's not medically cleared to compete, I guess, because he got it kicked in the brain to make him actually think that AEW and New Japan know what they're doing. New Japan did, but then they thought they needed to team up with AEW. And well, you've seen how that has gone. Moxley delivers a promo that doesn't get me excited at all about the pay-per-view. And again, here's the thing. I don't care about this pay-per-view because I don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. I just don't have time. And I've said this before on this podcast. I'm a casual fan who, happens to have a platform to say a few things that about wrestling. So I'm a slightly more than casual fan who knows a lot about the business and has been watching wrestling for 30 years, but I don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I don't know who any of these guys are. And I don't know why I should care about Moxley being involved with Tanahashi. I just don't get it. Okay, and then Orange Cassidy comes out. And it's him and the Rigatoni Vice, or whatever their name is. I think it's, what is it? Rigatune Vice? I don't know. I'm saying Rigatoni Vice. Him in pockets going against Will Ospreay and the Aussie Club, which, again, I've heard a lot about Will Ospreay. It was cool to see him, but I don't know anything about him, so I don't know why I should care about this feud. So I just don't get why people pop for Orange Cassidy. He's a good athlete, decent in the ring, but his gimmick is stale. His gimmick got stale about 2.5 years ago, but AEW can't switch it up because for some reason their fans They'll pop for anything that this company does. This very, very small fan base pops for anything that this company does. And, oh my God, you can't change it. You can't change it. It's AEW. You can't change it. Yeah. And then when those fans eventually stop watching and they don't bring in new fans, but all those wrestlers still expect to get paid, yeah. Let me know how that works out for you, Tony Clown. God, what a tool. All right. And of course, they showed kids saying, shut the fuck up on television during Christian Cage's promo. Awesome. The Young Bucks are freaking useless. They make me dumber every time I see them. Who the hell is Silas Young? I just have no idea who he is. And here's the other thing now. I don't know who's on the AEW roster. Like, it seems like they're featuring ROH guys and New Japan guys more than their own guys. So I don't know. And well, they don't actually show the female talent. So I don't, there's that. There's no consistency in their women's division, which we'll get to in a minute. But I don't know who's on the main. I don't know who is a part of AEW. Like who? It seems like they put more ROH and New Japan, or they show more ROH titles than they do their own titles with FTR and Wheeler Yuta. So I just don't know. I don't know who's on AEW's roster anymore. Adam Cole gets more annoying every time he speaks, and I can't believe I'm saying that about Adam Cole because I used to love Adam Cole, but he's been destroyed in AEW, and his career has gone completely down the toilet. And now Jay White is coming out. Look, we're all supposed to know who the hell he is. And then Okada shows up, finally. I get and I understand he's one of the biggest stars in New Japan, but why is he only showing up now? Wouldn't you think that New Japan would want to put their biggest star out there to help promote this pay-per-view? Again, the only people that are going to watch this pay-per-view are people who know who these New Japan wrestlers are, which is a very, very, very small percentage of the entire wrestling community. And this is who AEW caters to, and this is going to be a problem. It's not a sustainable business model. But Okada shows up, gets a kind of sort of big pop, maybe, and just does some generic wrestling moves. So, again, I don't know why I'm supposed to care about Okada, who's supposedly their biggest star. I just don't get it. And then, of course, Jay White comes out, and this all just doesn't make any sense at all. Marina Shafir is being wasted in AEW. And again, there's no consistency in their women's division. Again, you throw her in there with Shayna Baszler or Ronda Rousey, it'd be awesome. But Toni Storm gets the win, kind of a roll-up. I'm looking forward to Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa. I think that's going to be a really good match. Thunder Rosa is great. And, of course, I've thought Toni Storm has been great for years, so that's all fine. But, again, where's the consistency in their women's division? I thought Britt Baker, DMD, was their main star. But we didn't see any of her this week. And then we get a small promo from Jade Cargill, who's trying to keep things PG, but then tells Tony to stop the shit. So I just don't get it. Why is Lance Archer randomly in the main event of the show? And here's the other thing. And I said, if you don't know who Tanahashi is, you would be saying that he's meh. This was my first time to watch Hiroshi Tanahashi wrestle, and I thought he's fine. I guess he's kind of a generic dude. So, again, if you don't know who he is, you have no reason to be invested in this feud. This is going to be the biggest problem with this pay-per-view, is that you have no idea who to be invested in and why to be invested in them. Oh, God. And then we get to the post-match brawl. Did the commentary team try to imply that this was a New Japan invasion? This is the angle that we're going with on the final segment before the Forbidden Door pay-per-view that Tony Khan is inviting them to? I have to keep my voice down because there's other people in the house that are sleeping when I'm able to record this. But I would be screaming at my computer right now if I could. So this is a very tame version of what the hell is wrong with AEW from Dericho. But I'd be screaming right now if there weren't people. So I'll let Josh, in his portion of the show, scream and yell. Josh, if you could do some extra screaming for me and ranting, that would be great. So they're saying that this is an invasion angle of a pay-per-view that Tony Khan invited them to AEW. Boy, bravo, Booker of the Year. Tony Khan truly has lost his ever-loving mind. This is going to be, I have a feeling that the matches are going to be fine, but where do you go after this, and how does this benefit New Japan? The card is awful. I'll give my predictions in a separate episode, but if I have absolutely no reason at all to be invested in this show, and I hate to say this, but I hope it's a total flop, so that this whole wrestling world can get Tony Khan to shut the hell up and go the hell away. Seriously, what the hell is wrong with AEW?
This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW.
Well, thank you, Mr. Brother Carter. Thank you for taking some time off your sweet hiatus, my man. All right, it's time to get into what the hell is wrong with AEW, aka what isn't wrong with AEW. All right, folks, hope you had a wonderful week. Make sure you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh Lopez Media. Man, do I have to talk about this show? Do I have to talk about Dynamite especially? This rudderless autopilot ship that we're on? By the way, it's week number 3 of no MGF anything. No references, no updates, no nothing. So I'm just going to act like he doesn't exist now. Did the truth hurt Rick Moranis? Did it sting a little bit? By the way, nothing that MGF said in that promo is wrong. I mean, look at this card for Forbidden Door on Sunday. By the way, a former WWE guy will be crowned a new AEW All-Atlantic champion. A former WWE guy will be crowned a new AEW interim world champion. Meanwhile, he'll fight for the main title against another former WWE guy. If MJF doesn't show up at this pay-per-view on Sunday, then what the hell are we doing here? Oh, man. Max, MJF, I sympathize you with my brother. Keep your head up. So, started off the show on Dynamite last night with Karen Danielson gracing us with his presence. Glad he admitted that what Eddie Kingston and everybody else watching at home knows, he is a judgmental prick and passive-aggressive and phony. So, I did get a kick out of Brother Carr saying he's delusional, but as I told him last night on Facebook Messenger, Bryan Danielson has been delusional for a long time. It's another guy who thinks his shit don't stink. And, yeah, as much as I am bummed out that we didn't get to see Bryan Danielson at the United Center wrestle, that's fine. It's not the end of the world for me. I'll just say that whoever is replacing him and who's going to fight in Blood and Guts next week better be worthwhile because, I mean, great. We're going to have a match with Zack Sabre Jr. And who's it going to be? Who's going to be the one that really wants to bleed and stuff like that? Who's going to be the new member of the Blackpool Combat Club? If it's Gargano, cool. If it's Cesaro, cool. I'm leaning more towards Jonathan Gresham joining the group, but I could be wrong. But I'm curious to see who they pick, because if it's somebody that's out of the nowhere and nobody gives a shit about, that's going to be an interesting reaction, to say the least. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, am I excited to be at the United Center and experience a full-length wrestling show? You're damn right I am. But am I excited as a fan to come back and transcribe this? Not really. And Dynamite didn't do me any favors this week as far as getting me more pumped up for the show. You know, I know the whole discussion for the next couple days would be like, oh my God, Okada showed up. But as I said last night, just because Okada finally showed the last week before the pay-per-view doesn't put a blanket over this crap build. Every month, every year, we go through these soliloquies and diatribes about the build-up towards WWE pay-per-views, but we don't hold AEW to the same standard yet. This is the same promotion that marketed to us that they're going to write the ills of the WWE and they're going to be the saviors of wrestling, right? Where's the balance here? Why are we doing this double standard game? So Okada shows up. Oh, the build for Forbidden Door has been great. Oh, the card's great. It's going to be a great pay-per-view. Great this, great that. I feel like I'm at a fucking Trump convention. Like, literally, every time I watch a AEW show, I feel like I'm at a Trump gathering. Everything's great. Everything's huge. It's the greatest thing ever. Greatest. And I hear Tony Khan on Busted Open, where that's nearly a half an hour ass kissing session. And I'm like, whatever, dude. I can repeat myself every week and just say this is a glad handing, but it's kind of turning into a hand jobbing session in AEW because everybody's kissing each other's ass. There's no right or wrong. There's no person. There's no filter there. Everything is great. I'll tell you something that's great and something that was good, actually, on this program last night was Christian Cage. And ironically, he has nothing to do with this pay-per-view on Sunday. Let's play that for you. Let me scroll that up for you guys. Let's play this.
Listen, Tony. Listen, I was only giving Jungle Boy's mom the chance to apologize to me for giving birth to Jungle Boy. And she instead flipped me off. But here's the thing. Here's why I think she's really mad. I think she saw her knight in shining armor go off into the sunset. I think she was a little sweet on Christian Cage, if you know what I mean. I think she wanted me to be Jungle Boy's father. And here's the thing, I know Jungle Boy, he looked at me like a father figure. He sure did. But here's the thing, Jungle Boy, I never wanted to be your father. I never wanted to be your father figure. You have a father, but your father's dead.
Damn.
And that's probably a good thing, Jungle Boy, because he would be embarrassed and ashamed to see how you turned out. He'd be embarrassed and ashamed to see you crumpled up like a ball on my feet, refusing to get up and fight back. Here it is, Jungle Boy. Enjoy your early retirement at 25. Stay on, because if you...
I wanted to play the whole thing because, honestly, last night on Dynamite, Christian Cage took that entire roster in AEW, especially Jungle Boy, to wrestling school. If you want to talk about what Wrestling 101 playbook and Wrestling 101 this and Wrestling 101 that, Christian Cage just did that right there. Wrestling 101 into how to start a feud. Wrestling 101 on setting the layers of a feud. Wrestling 101 how to cut a promo that actually has some substance and nuance to it. Wrestling 101 on how to be a heel. A lot of good stuff there, man. I have no complaints. Christian was good. It's the first good thing he's done in a year and a half. I know how good his Christian is. I don't know if Tony Khan did. But that's another story for another time. Let's talk about a couple of the matches that went on the show. Aussie Open and Will Ospreay lose again. They lose to Roppongi Vice and Orange Cassidy because we got to double down in the stupid-ass match that I talked about last week. Yeah, Pockets and Will Ospreay. It's going to be the next Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. I saw that as a tweet last night. I'm not shitting you. I saw this as a tweet last night. Will Ospreay and Orange Cassidy is the next Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. Well, oh God, I don't even know how to respond to that. I really don't. That's like, okay. That's like putting Biggie in a versus battle against Tekashi 6ix9ine. Or Biggie in a versus battle against the Baby. Or Little Baby. And all the babies. What are we doing here? Why do we have to double down on a fucking vanity project? I don't want to come on here and do a whole Jim Cornette impression routine. That wasn't the goal of this segment. Or for the reason of this segment. I didn't create this segment because of Jim Cornette's reviews of AEW. I do think it's ironic that me and him share a lot of the same thoughts. I'll agree to that. I am a Cornette fan. Shout out to you, Corny, if you're listening or watching to this. But I watched this segment, and the fact I watched this match too, and it's like, do anybody care about any rules? JR even got me to agree with him this week. How about that? Him pointing out the stupid tag 1-2, the simultaneous tags in the corner where it makes the referees look stupid. When has that ever been legal in wrestling where you can tag somebody and then immediately tag the other person in? It makes no sense. Everybody's doing the same spots. Again, you're making Ospreay look weak and like a jabroni. United Empire starting to build some momentum as a serious group in New Japan. Oh, they got to back away from fucking Pockets and the rest of the crew. Come on, man. By the way, it wouldn't be a go-home show at AEW without afterbirth brawls. And boy, were there a lot of them on this program. Speaking of things that doubling down and don't need to, Jay Lethal in this vanity project with Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh. Does this fucking group have a name to themselves? What is it? The Nobody Gives a Shit About Me Club? What is this shit? Nobody's gonna care about the Samoa Joe Jay Lethal match when it goes down. Nobody's gonna give a flying fuck when that match goes down. Now, let's bring back some positivity. I enjoyed, for the most part, Malachi Black and Pentagon Jr. I thought that was a good match. Malachi Black won. No surprise there. After the match, Miro said he's going to redeem all his opponents and make a bad look of his god and calls him a coward. We'll see how that plays out. But Malachi and Pentagon, good match. No problem there. Actually, the four-way, despite me ripping on the name of the title, I think should be a pretty good match for Forbidden Door. Now, here's the contrast in AEW. You heard Christian Cage's promo earlier in the show. Let's hear from these dweebs. The Hartley Boys and Kyle O'Reilly.
You're finally doing your job. Take a look at these, huh? They're back on the best tag team in the world, the Young Bucks. We got the titles back. The tag division is #1 yet again.
Nick, all is right in the world. The Young Business are back on top, and we're the first ever two-time, I'll say it again, two-time AEW World Tag Team Champions. And you might be asking yourself, Young Bucks, are you going to be on the pay-per-view Sunday, Forbidden Door? Well, I don't know. Geez, since we're probably the original locksmith that created the key that opened the damn door in the first place, I think it's a safe bet that we're going to be there. Okay. How you feeling, Kyle?
I'm pretty freaking far from okay, guys. First Darby takes out Fish, and the man called Sting should be locked up for what he did to me, completely unprovoked with my hands. Registered lethal weapons. I would sue his ass. But Forbidden Door. We got the Bullet Club. We got Hukaleo and El Fantasma. Yes. To team with you guys, the greatest tag team of any generation, in my humble opinion, to take on Sting and his cronies at Forbidden Door.
Oh, the Young Bucks back in Bullet Club, one night only. We're going to super kick the Forbidden Door down because it's showtime, folks!
Now cut it, Brandon.
No comments. My point is proven right there in that clip. Hangman Page. Nice to see Silas Young on the show. I've been a fan of Silas Young for a long time. So he was working at AAW in Chicago. Also, a long stay in Ring of Honor as well. A mainstay there in Ring of Honor, I should say. And I thought the match was fine. This is where Okada showed up after the match, got to a piercing brawl with Cole, Jay White. It's going to be a predictable Fatal 4-Way as it was. Again, my issue is not necessarily the matches for what the match quality would be at Forbidden Door. Of course, it would be a fun show in that light. but the build-up, and why should I care? When the fact that you can make me a guy who's all New Japan, New Japan is one of my favorite promotions in wrestling, right? Let's say if WWE wasn't around, I would say for sure New Japan would be my favorite wrestling company right now. If you can take a guy like me who's an all New Japan guy and not be interested in an Okada match and seeing him in person, you'd be out of your mind. But AEW accomplishes that because AEW does everything to make me not care about their product. So, yeah, will the match be awesome? Of course. Look who's in the ring. But why should we care? Where's this match going to be placed on the card? We'll see how this plays out. Toni Storm against Marina Shafir. Overstayed is welcome. I thought it was alright. Toni Storm won that one. Here's the lineup for Rampage this week. We got Jeff Cobb against Cash Wheeler, Mercedes Martinez, and Serena Deeber in tag action. Hook will fight the DKC, and Andrade Alidolo against Phoenix should be the main event, but knowing AEW will be the first match of the show. So that's a preview for Rampage, and then obviously the main event, Jon Moxley and Hiroshi Tanahashi against Chris Jericho and Lance Archer. Believe it or not, I was actually enjoying the majority of the match, but again, this goes back to AEW not knowing how to format the show and killing the vibe of matches. Like, I was really trying to get into the Heyman Page and Silas Young match because I was really into. I'm a fan of the guy, and it's cool of him getting this opportunity on Dynamite, right? But almost half of that match was in picture-in-picture. And same thing here. Like, I don't know if they went for extended picture-in-picture runs because they had to do these stupid-ass afterbirth brawls after every match was over. This week, this was as close to WCW as you would get an any wrestling program this week on Dynamite. Like, golly, man. Can you let something breathe? So, Jon Moxley, Tanahashi gets the victory over Jericho and Lance Archer. Tanahashi won with the high fly flow. No harm, no foul there. They get to their face-to-face. Cool, I thought that was going to be a fine visual. Wrap up the show that way. But no! Out comes Eddie Kingston. Out comes Wheeler Useless. Out comes Shota Umino. Out comes the Jericho Jagoff Appreciation Dick Riders. Out comes Santana and Ortiz. We have a brouhaha to close out the show. Not only to promote Forbidden Door, but Blood and Guts. As Tamatanga said on Twitter last night, too much bullshit and nonsense to close your show off the air like that. Look, as much as I'm indifferent on the Jon Moxley and Hiroshi Tanahashi match and how predictable that match is going to be, leave the visual where it needs to be. That should be the tension. You're selling the pay-per-view. That's the main event of your show. Why are we doing this stupid-ass brawl where punches are barely being thrown or landed correctly? Oh my god, man. This company can't help themselves. And then, of course, we had to have this stupid-ass brawl on the outside because we got to promote Blood and Guts next week. Like, we really need Blood and Guts. So, I guess you want to hear my predictions, right, for Forbidden Door? We should do that to wrap this up. I'll say this. And last week, I really went off and expressed my frustration about this Forbidden Door pay-per-view. This week, as I came out of Dynamite, I'm not infuriated. I'm just indifferent. I go into the show to have a good time and get out of the house and enjoy myself. So I'll do that. And there are matches on this card that I am looking forward to, at least for the match quality purposes. But am I on my pins and needles excited for this show? Hell no. Like I mentioned earlier in the Q&A, this card looks like something like an automated generator pay-per-view card that you see in the universe mode on WWE video games. That's what it looks like. The fact that we got New Japan people teaming up with AEW people is so fucking ridiculous. It's insane. So, here's the card. Max Caster and the Gun Club. This is the buy-in match. Max Caster and the Gun Club take out LA Dojo members Yo Uemura, Alex Coughlin, Kevin Knight, and the DKC in the 8-man tag. We know who's winning that one. Max Caster and the Gun Club. Will Ospreay and Orange Cassidy for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Will Ospreay's going to have to do miracle work, and I'm sure he will, and he'll make it enjoyable for what it is. But Will Ospreay will retain. That's my pick there. I have Suzuki, Jericho, and Guevara beating Kingston, Umino, and Wheeler Yuta. That match is such a waste of time. I don't know why anybody wants to watch that match. I really don't. Zack Sabre Jr. against Jonathan Gresham. I say Jonathan Gresham gets an upset victory over Zack Sabre Jr. I'll say that. That'll be my pick if that's the guy. I say whoever replaces Bryan Danielson will beat Zack Sabre Jr. That'll be my pick. Listen to this. Shingo Takagi, one of the best wrestlers in the world, by the way. One of the top 10 wrestlers in the world, by the way. Is relegated to 8-man tag. Listen to this. Shingo Takagi, Hiromu Takahashi, Darby Allin, and Sting against the Young Bucks, El Phantasmo, and Hikuleo. A random-ass 8-man tag with no purpose to it. By the way, what have I been saying for weeks now since this pay-per-view been starting? A match that's right there, right in front of you. A perfect opening match for that card for you to do. Darby Allin against Hiromu Takahashi. Neither of the guys are holding titles, so their feelings can't get hurt. They lose the match. You have the perfect match right there. But no, let's pull them in a tag match because we gotta have fucking Sting on the card. Brutal, man. How about this? One of the few matches I'm looking forward to. United Empire, Jeff Cobb, and Great Khan and FTR putting their respective tag team titles on the line in a winner takes all match against Roppongi Vice. I have Roppongi Vice winning the match. That should be pretty cool. And then I have Thunder Rosa retaining over Thunderstorm. I have Malachi Black becoming the All-Atlantic champion. Then, finally, the last two matches, I have Jay White retaining over Okada, Adam Cole, and Hangman Page. And, of course, Jon Moxley against Hiroshi Tanahashi. So, we'll see what happens with this godforsaken pay-per-view coming up on Sunday. And, excuse me, let me get a swig of water real quick. Alright, so I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good time, and I'm excited to be there at the United Center on Sunday. But I'll let you know, man, this pay-per-view is going to be long. Don't be surprised this is a 5-hour pay-per-view. I don't know if it'll be as long as Double or Nothing, but look at this card. We'll just have to see what matches get cut short or whatever. But yeah, that's your card for Forbidden Door coming up on Sunday. A autopilot generator of matches that make absolutely no sense. So that, my folks, is what the hell's wrong with AEW this week. Alright, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. Another fun edition of the Hoots Podcast is in the books. Make sure to do me a favor and make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you like at Josh Lopez Media. Make sure to bookmark ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. I want to thank you guys for listening and watching the podcast as well. Make sure to like, comment, and share this podcast and give us your predictions for Forbidden Door in the comment section here on YouTube. Also on Spotify as well. Make sure to follow us there. We really appreciate the support. And if you're an Apple Podcast user, please leave us a 4 or 5 star review and rating. It really helps expand the reach of the show. And Brent Carter and I want to gauge your guys' thoughts and your critiques of the podcast as a whole, and anything you'd like to change or anything like that. So, for myself and the Director of Operations, this has been episode 315 of the Hoots Podcast. remember, be the authentic product that is yourself. And remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. I love you guys. Make sure to sit back, relax, strap it down, and enjoy Forbidden Door this weekend if you could. And also, let's send it out to Bert Carter for this week's edition, a special edition of the Thoughts of Dericho, right here at Hoots Podcast. We'll be here next week for episode 316. Give me a hell yeah! We'll talk to you guys next week. I love y'all. Yes, sir.
And now, the Thoughts of Dericho. Listen well, man.
Welcome, welcome, one and all, to the segment that will never be forbidden in anyone's eyes. It is the Thoughts of Dericho, featuring the one, the only, Brother Carter. Well, this edition of the Thoughts of Dericho is taking a midway point from my summer hiatus and my traveling, because with Forbidden Door this weekend, I had to give some predictions for the show, and I'll certainly be doing that, and I can't wait to do that. But before I do that, I want to speak very quickly about just a couple of the major topics in the world of professional wrestling, kind of give some thoughts. I think the first thing that's on everyone's mind is the Vince McMahon scandal and everything that's going on with that. I'm sure Josh has highlighted that earlier in the show. So I want to speak about that a little bit and just kind of what's going on. Obviously, this is a crazy time for WWE right now. You've got Vince McMahon, who has stepped down as CEO, with Stephanie McMahon taking an interim role after she was going to take some time off. So this is kind of crazy. She's being brought back. John Laurinaitis has been placed on administrative leave, and I've been reading that he's not going to be back. So Bruce Pritchard is going to take over as Director of Talent Relations. It's a crazy time in WWE right now. I don't know what this means. Triple H is stepping away. We could see a major shift in WWE's where the direction of the company over the next couple of years, because it sounds like Vince McMahon is going to be phasing himself out, except in creative, which could be a problem, honestly. And I know with some of the things they're doing creatively, and we're going to get to that here in a second, but I was hoping that this would actually get Vince McMahon out of creative, and they would let somebody like Triple H or somebody of the new blood. Triple H did an amazing job running NXT. And so I was hoping that it would lead to Triple H coming back and taking over. But, it is what it is. But I hope they get this all sorted out soon. But I have a feeling we're going to see a major paradigm shift, pun intended, in WWE, which I think is going to be for the better. Vince has been doing this for a long time. God bless him. He's created a dynasty. But sometimes you got to know when to let go. And I think it's time for Vince to let this thing go, pass this thing off to his kids, and let the next generation run with it. Now, of course, Tony Khan is inept, so it's not going to matter. And he's bringing down all of the potential competition with him. Tony Khan's bringing down ROH and New Japan with him. So it's not going to matter. Vince is still going to win the war, which he was going to win anyway. But to make it even better, I think it's time for Vince to get rid of everything and just let his kids take over. Okay, the other major story of the week is the return of Brock Lesnar. Now, the first thing I thought of about this was absolutely the break glass in case of emergency. Cody Rhodes is out. Randy Orton is out. So I guess they felt Lesnar was the next best option. And listen, I love Brock Lesnar. I think, as we all know, his stuff with Reigns over the last year has been incredibly entertaining. Problem is we've seen it. Now, I get it. Like, it's going to be awesome. And I'm not suggesting that's not going to be awesome. But you're telling me you couldn't put Rollins in there? You couldn't throw Kevin Owens in there? Like, could you imagine the Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns stuff? That would be amazing. So, while I'm happy to see Lesnar. Don't get me wrong. He's one of the greatest of all time. And this is going to be a ton of fun. And I think it's a safe way to get the title off of Reigns, if I'm being honest. Because you get Brock Lesnar, get the win. And if Brock Lesnar isn't sticking around, you just have somebody cash in, whoever wins Money in the Bank, which I think is going to be Seth Rollins. You have Seth Rollins cash in Money in the Bank, and that's how you safely get the title off of Reigns. That way, when Reigns is ready to come back, if he wants to take it back from Rollins or whoever, he can do that. My thought would be get Reigns to take it back, and then Cody takes it off of him at WrestleMania when Cody's ready by then. So, but to everybody that was, of course, freaking out, like, y'all, it's fine. It's going to be fine. We're going to see some great promos from Lesnar. We're going to see some great stuff from Heyman. But yes, this was absolutely WWE's break glass in case of emergency. Again, I wish they had given another up-and-coming star a chance, or not up-and-coming, but some of the great talent they have at the top of the card, like maybe a Drew McIntyre or maybe a Kevin Owens or Seth Rollins or something like that, to get a chance to go against Reigns at SummerSlam, because I think that'd be great. Riddle had his chance, and they had a great match on SmackDown. I'd love to see a little bit more with Riddle, but so we'll see. It's not time for theory yet. So but all this, my point in all of this, and my ranting and raving, is that to say this was absolutely a break glass in case of emergency. The Lesnar breaking of the glass. I wish they hadn't done it, but at the same time, I'm always happy to see Brock Lesnar, and the views that are going to happen on YouTube are going to skyrocket as a result. So there you go. Okay, before I wrap up the thoughts this week, I'm going to give my predictions. For the Forbidden Door pay-per-view coming up this weekend that I will not watch, even if I could. I would not watch this at all, because I hate to say this about any pro wrestling show, but I hope that this show is a giant flop so that the world can give a big fuck you to Tony Khan for bringing down AEW and ROH and New Japan all at the same time. Like, he's literally brought all three companies and reduced them to laughing stocks right now. But let's go over the card. I'll give some predictions, even though I have no idea who half of these competitors are. I'm reading these off of Bleacher Report, and I'm recording this on a Thursday evening. So that's as of Thursday evening. Wednesday evening into Thursday morning is when I'm recording this. And so this is the card as of then. So the first match they've got listed is Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy. You're telling me out of the entire AEW roster, you couldn't find a better opponent for Will Ospreay than Orange Cassidy? Hey. I hope this is good, because I actually think Cassidy's a good athlete, and I've heard Will Ospreay is terrific. I'm going to say Will Ospreay retains here. No reason to put the title off of him, though. I wouldn't be surprised if Orange Cassidy, Tony Khan's favorite pet project, ends up walking out with the title. But I'm going to take Will Ospreay to retain here. All right, next up, we've got winner takes all for the IWGP and Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. The IWGP champions, United Empire, defending or competing against Roppongi Vice, or as I call them, Rigatoni Vice, Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero, as well as FTR, who are the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. I'm very confused about what's going on. So you've got the IWGP and Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships on an AEW show. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to go with FTR here. They've been terrific as of late, and I see no reason for them to not take the IWGP titles and get more opportunities to wrestle. Again, my only concern with all of this is what does this mean? Does this basically mean that our ROH, AEW, and IWGP are combining forces to try to take on WWE? I mean, it's so, that's fine, but I just don't know who's on what roster, and it gets all convoluted and mixed up. That being said, I think this should be fun, and I'm looking forward to this. I'm not going to see it, but I assume this will be a good match, and I'm going to take FTR to become the undisputed champions. And now we have a trios match. We've got, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki against Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino. I hope I'm saying that right. Chris Jericho has become the worst professional wrestler in the world. He's calling himself a wizard. Sammy Guevara is a complete douchebag who is going to end his career recklessly. I've completely fallen off the Sammy Guevara train. I was on it for a long time. I have jumped off that bandwagon. He's going to end up doing something stupid and ending his career, much like Darby Allin will. And him and Ty Conti, I appreciate the fact that they're trying to get heat. I will give Guevara and Conti credit for the fact that they can draw some natural heel heat. And that's good. That is what you should do in professional wrestling. That's good. That I don't have a problem with. My problem with Guevara is that he's going to end up doing something stupid and he's going to end up ruining his career. That's my problem with him. Same problem I have with Darby Allin. That being said, I've got Kingston, Yuta, and Umino winning here. I think the faces will be good and they can continue to build this feud into something with blood and guts or something. I don't know. And then you got blood and guts after this. I don't know what the hell is going on. But I'm going to take the faces to get the win here. All right. AEW will introduce its newest championship for some stupid reason. The All-Atlantic Championship in a 4-way contest. You've got Pac, Miro, Malachi Black, and I believe it is Okada, I think, is in there. Is that correct? Sorry, it's Ishii. I had to pull up a different card. It was Ishii in that. So you've got Pac versus Miro versus Malachi Black versus Tomohiro Ishii for the All Atlantic Championship. This one's hard to predict. I'm gonna take Miro, I guess. I'm hoping it's Malachi Black because I think no, scratch it. I'm gonna take Malachi Black. To get the win here. I think that he's terrific. I think he's been completely underrated, and they need to give him something to do as leader of House of Black. So I've got Malachi Black winning here. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a really good match. Again, I don't know much about Ishii, and I liked Miro's promo on Dynamite this week. So I'm going to take Malachi Black to get the win and become the inaugural All Atlantic Champion. Okay, a couple other matches that I've just seen here. Let me see if I can find them here. Okay, on the buy-in show, which I forgot to talk about, you've got the Gun Club, Billy, Colton, and Austin Gunn, and Max Caster. So you've got Max Caster and the Ass Boys against the New Japan Dojo team of the DKC, Kevin Knight, Alex Coughlin, and Yuya Umira. I'm going to take the New Japan team to get the win here. You got to have the faces get the win here. On that one, that match will be what it is. I don't know why they're dudes with attitudes. Like, what is this? California Dreams? Surf dudes with attitudes. So you have the dudes with attitudes: Sting, Darby Allin, Hiromu Takahashi, and Shingo Takagi versus the Bullet Club. There's your Bullet Club reference, which everyone will go batshit crazy for. El Fantasmo, Hikuleo, and the new AEW Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks. I'll take dudes with attitudes to get the win here. The California Dreams to get the win here. I don't know why. I don't care. Fine. That'll be great. Zack Sabre Jr. Is now going to go against the newest member of the Blackpool Combat Club. Bryan Danielson announced on Dynamite that he's unable to compete, unfortunately. So that's really sad. I was hoping to. I know a lot of people wanted to see Bryan Danielson versus. They wanted to see Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. That's not going to happen. The newest member of the Blackpool Combat Club. This one's hard to predict. I've seen some names thrown around. I've seen Cesaro thrown around out there. I've heard he's coming back to WWE, but Cesaro would make sense. So that they'll have a nice little one-off match, and then Cesaro will be relegated to being in a, playing second fiddle to Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, and William Regal. But it is what it is. I'll say it's Cesaro to be the person that will go against Zack Sabre Jr., and that'll be fine. So, and of course, Cesaro will get the win against Zack Sabre Jr. Okay, let's see. We've got Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm for the AEW Women's Championship. Now, this is a match I'm actually looking forward to. I think this will be terrific. This might be one of the best matches of the show. I'm going to say Thunder Rosa retains her championship. It's not quite time to take the title off of her yet, even though it doesn't really matter because the most inconsistent booking in all professional wrestling is here in AEW's women's division. But I'm going to say that Thunder Rosa will become the new AEW Women's Champion. I'm sorry. Thunder Rosa will retain the AEW Women's Championship. She's already the champion. I will say Thunder Rosa retains. That should be a good match. We've got a 4-way match. Jay White is defending the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Hangman Adam Page, Okada, and Adam Cole, baby. I've got Jay White winning. I've got Jay White retaining his title here. No reason to put it, unless they're going to put it on Okada. I could see them also putting it on Okada for a New Japan storyline, and then, oh, you didn't beat me fairly, which would make sense. I'm going to say Jay White retains here, but don't be... No, I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Okada's going to win the title. Okada's going to win the title here because Tony Clown wants to get a huge IWGP pop on his show in the United States. So I've got Okada winning this, and it can set up a feud down the road with Jay White if they wanted to, which, oh, you didn't beat me fair and square. So I'm going to say Okada. I'm changing my pick midstream. I'm taking Okada to become the new IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. And then we get the main event. Jon Moxley versus Hiroshi Tanahashi for the interim AEW World Championship. Now, every bit of logic says Moxley is going to win the AEW World Championship. This is a head versus heart thing because my head says go with Jon Moxley. Like that's clearly the way to go. But I would not put it past Tony Khan to put his world title on a New Japan star to make Dave Meltzer jizz his pants. Like that's the sole reason I'm taking Tanahashi to win the AEW World Championship because Tony Khan wants to do nothing more than to blow Dave Meltzer. That's the only reason I'm picking this. I'm taking Tanahashi to win the world title just so that Tony Khan can please Dave Meltzer and get 8 stars in the Wrestling Observer newsletter and win Booker of the Year for the 3rd year because that's all he cares about. Tanahashi is going to win so that Dave Meltzer can, pull a Stan Marsh. You know what I'm talking about. And those are my predictions for Forbidden Door. Not going to watch the show. Don't care. Think it's going to be a waste of time. But if you're into that stuff, go for it. Enjoy the show. And those are the thoughts of Dericho this week. My final thoughts to everybody is continue to enjoy your summer. We're in a crazy time in our world right now. I know gas prices are out of control. Scary things in the world going on with gun control right now. All I would say is just hang in there, folks. As the United States, we've always been resilient. We'll always fight through this like we always do, and we will come out stronger on the other side. If you're going to watch Forbidden Door, enjoy it. If not, enjoy your sanity. Hang in there, folks. We're going to make it.
This has been The Thoughts of Dericho. You're smarter now, man.